The next one's from Thomas, and the subject is KG.
I like this one.
Well, what up, though? Konnan, please respond. And this is Kevin Gill posting from Facebook, okay?
So I meant to bring this up because someone sent it to me and I totally forgot. So I'm glad someone sent it in. Yeah, go ahead, it is a KG Facebook comment about AAA in Madison Square Garden.
Kevin Gill tweets it. Puts this on Facebook. Is this Facebook?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, who would have thunk that AAA would have had to relocate their Madison Square Garden show after completely dismal ticket sales? Definitely didn't see that one coming. Great from a PR standpoint. Perception is everything. Build, protect, and maximize your brand. Message. If ego is part of your decision-making process, it almost guarantees you're making the wrong decisions. Really may be harsh, but at least it's real. And then somebody announced Carter's less than a month and talent wasn't announced. Okay, so what is that? Am I supposed to comment? Konnan, please.
Yeah.
Theater, from amongst the reasons I know, is that obviously Vince is doing a SmackDown and a Raw taping for the first time in 10 years, 5 days before our show, which obviously hurts our ticket sales. I'm sure that came into it. And the other problem we're having is we had to reduce our we had to reduce the talent on the show and even a lot of our production because we haven't gotten the visas back on time. Now with Trump vetting, it takes a fucking long time to get these visas. So a lot of the crew isn't even going to have visas. So obviously they don't want to go to a place they're not going to be able to sell out. So they're going to the Hulu theater. But bro, at the end of the day, keep it pimping over there at what was that promotion, Game Changer or whatever, where they were wrestling inside of a truck. Keep commentating over there and doing your thing.
Well, that's the thing I had the Twitter thing with. Is the guy tried to bury me in it.
Bro, they were wrestling in the back of a truck, but like not a flatbed truck, but like a truck with a roof.
That wasn't
opened it up.
Yeah, that wasn't Game Changer. That was underground something wrestling that runs in Cali. That
they use KG. So it's like, so what?
Keep it strong at underground wrestling. Whoop-de-woo.
Yeah, so whatever that thing was, that right. But it was funny. But that's the point that we're trying to make. It's like you guys can talk about performance artists and your performance. That's fine, but you're going to be doing your shows in front of a very small group of people. It's like art house stuff. It's like it's like alternative wrestling. That's what you should call it, alternative wrestling. Because it's not wrestling the way it's been. The model of wrestling that is very kind of specific. We don't sell it as like, hey, you don't tell everybody, hey, come watch our fake fights and stuff. And you just don't do. It's just not because you have to present a product that creates something that can get the fans to emotionally invest in it, to suspend their disbelief for a little bit, all right? And just coming out and telling them right off the bat that you're a performance artist just does not help that at all. You're not going to get so we just always try to, when you're promoting your product, you always treat it with respect. It's professional wrestling. You could you can even call it sports entertainment, but it's like, but the guys that do it are professional wrestlers. We're not. Don't try to sell.
It's almost like it's a niche for the niche. It's like how much money. It's like what? As long as you draw 30 people, you're happy, or 100. Right. I mean,
it's like,
you can't make a living off of that. So if it's going to be a hobby, that's what you're doing. You're fucking marking out for. I'm in this to get paid, bro. Believe me, if I wasn't getting paid for this, I'd be doing something else. If I wasn't getting paid off of wrestling, I'd be doing something else. I'm not going to stay there just to be in the business like a mark.
Yeah, and we want to try and tell these people that, like, guys, if you continue to sell this as performance art and it starts trickles its way into society, they're going to look at us as performers as you're costing everybody money. You know what I'm saying? You're costing everybody money. Because the only people talking about performance art and stuff, everything, are people that are working on small time shows and doing it for $20 and probably shouldn't even be in the ring. So it's like they're trying to write these new rules, and we're just saying, no, stop. That's not the rules. We're professional wrestlers. That's how we sell it to the people, because that's always been proven to draw more money than.
Right. And it is a performance, and there is an art to it, but it's wrestling.
Right.
That's the performance art's name, wrestling.
Right.
That's what it is. But anyways, I mean, it may change in the future if they have their way, and that's something you just have to deal with. But I still think wrestling sells. It differentiates itself from, because performance arts could be literally anything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like alternative. It's an alternative. What it does is there's some shows that it's like it's an alternative market. Like, for example, the freak show wrestling that Simbodi does, right? So he gets wrestlers on the show. He does some weird stuff, but it's promoted as freak show wrestling, as kind of like, hey, this is a circus show.
Right.
You know, we're going to do a bunch of funny stuff, and wrestling's going to be the backdrop, but it's not really like,
right.
We're not treating it like the wins and losses matter or anything. It's just like we're just using wrestling as the backdrop to promote these characters. You know what I'm saying? But that's a specific show that he does. You know, it's like a different, you know, it's like artsy, you know.
But it's almost it's almost like now wrestlers it's almost like the new wrestlers look at the term wrestling as maybe what would be the word, like almost archaic in a way, and they're like, we're performance artists. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's how they're seeing themselves. What do you think, Joe?
I think, exactly like you said. Some of the new generation anyway, doesn't really seem to have, the respect for that term, and I think that they see.
Well, they never made any money.
Well, I think that they see the term.
They'll start respecting the term when they start making some big bucks. But right now, they haven't made nothing doing this, and they think they have this stuff figured out. It's like, no, until you draw money, you don't really have a say-so in what this, how this business needs to be run, because you're not talking from any point of experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, the people that have drawn money and wrestled in front of big crowds and know how to, what the formulas that have been traditionally followed in the past, that's the right way to do this. All these other subcultures of fans trying to come up, you're going to be doing like little shows in front of a few hundred people, but we're not trying to bring this shit into the mainstream and sell it on TV or anything or in big arenas, because it's a joke. You're not going to draw, But
the problem is that you got a generation now that didn't grow up even watching our wrestling, and what they have watched is smaller guys and a lot of guys doing nerdy shit
and Chikara, that kind of stuff.
Them. And they're like, okay, well, this is what wrestling is to us. And that other shit that they were doing in the 90s, well, that's old school shit. Yeah. Almost like we would look at something from the 60s and go, what is that?
Bro, let me tell you something.
Like that's just, unfortunately, the evolution of what's happening right now. I'm lucky still I'm very lucky that Mexico isn't as nuanced as the United States is in that shit, and they still like blood and guts and
still old school.
Right.
So let me give you a perfect
example.
Old
school over there.
Let me give you a perfect example.
Maybe let me just say one last thing. Maybe in 10 years or 15 years, Mexican wrestling might be a lot more like this. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you look at the fans at today's shows. You look at the big arenas, sold out arenas. Okay. Right. So, and these guys are wrestling in front of those fans, okay? Now go back to 1997, 1998, 99, and let's talk about here's an arena that was sold out every time we went there when it was hot and it was live. Baltimore Arena, okay? 12,000 people, places packed every time. You're in the middle of the Northeast. It's a tough town. It's a tough town. A house show is money not packed. Always packed.
And we would always go afterwards to the Apollo's place.
So Ric Flair is in the ring. He cuts a promo. Remember where he took all his clothes off because they said he was broke, and he's like, he started stripping down and watch, bro. The people today have never performed in front of a crowd like that. We used to perform in front of crowds like that every time we worked. They were rabid. They were emotional. They popped when you punched a guy, and he would take a bump. They pop on everything. Because your character was so over, we fought with it, and we were intense out there because the crowd was live. We never really went through the motions. We were going. You had like 6 to 8 minutes and something, and you watch the way the crowd reacts. This generation of wrestlers has never wrestled in front of a group of people like that ever. They're wrestling in front of a completely different type of fan that reacts completely different, and they're not even really. And the fans like that they wrestle in front of are not. A lot of them are not wrestling fans. They're performance artist fans. So they're not tough looking. They're not. You don't hear that deep energy from the crowd where it's coming from their lungs and stuff and everything. Sometimes when they're popping and stuff, this generation of wrestlers never wrestled in front of that. We did. So what we're saying is like, hey, there's things that we did to generate these responses from large groups of people, and it wasn't by going out there and telling everybody, hey, we're fake, we're performance art. That would not fly. Because then people would start looking at you. They start at it different, and they start reacting.
It does. Here's the thing. It does happen from time to time. I'll give you an example. If you go to Mexico, and a lot more American wrestlers are going to Mexico than ever before, they'll feel that type of heat. But there's sometimes when you do a good angle, all right, and some of the smaller indies, when you do like a really good angle, and the people get into it. Like when you went out there and you were cussing the people out, how many compliments did you get? Because hardly nobody gets that type of heat. You can still get it from them. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I've seen some good angles in Impact and even MLW where they got some good heat.
Right.
It's every here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. But saying it's like that's the thing. Then that brings up another question: why can't we generate that kind of heat from the fans again? It's like you look at the wrestlers, like, hey, maybe you guys aren't doing this stuff, like, It's I don't know. It's just like I've always said, the heat is generated before the match ever starts. Good heat leads into a match and gets people to buy the tickets.
There's a lot of guys in this business that if they would have told them to cut the promo you cut, they probably wouldn't have cut it because they didn't want to have heat with the girls in the locker room or with the fans, and that's so stupid.
Yeah,
you're playing a part.